Hello, 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 and welcome to Prosperity Artists. This is a podcast I've started over and over again, both in my dreams and in reality. There are so many first episodes that have been recorded, filmed, some of them almost published. And yet, today, it is Friday, November 7th, 2025, at the time of filming this. Today is the day. And in this first episode, I'm really just going to focus on, ooh, I'm letting these words come out, the meaning of life. Starting heavy, right? We're starting with a big topic. And so, at my young age of 40, and I truly believe that is young because here we can live till 200. And the last time I went in my channel, I'm going to do pretty good on that number. I really believe we're at this place where humans are going to start living till 120, 140 with ease, maybe even longer. And so, with this time that we have on Earth, for me, my biggest thing was, what is my purpose? What am I here for? And what I will say to you is, we don't know. I'm just going to start with that. We don't know. This is not a podcast for someone who wants me to tell them the answer. I will not give you my version of your answer. But I may say things, many things, that give you your own answers. We'll start off there with that, right? What you won't get from me is ego, believing I know all the things. And what you will also get from me is a big opinion on many things that is constantly evolving because I am constantly evolving. Number one promise, I show up with integrity. I learn, I relearn, I adjust. I do my best and then I do better. And so that's my promise to you as we move through this. And if you're hearing anything and feeling like I'm telling you something, or if you're hearing anything and it's causing a reaction in you, pause and tune into that and listen to the words that I'm saying. And if they're coming through differently for you, ask yourself why. And I say this because the words that come out of my mouth can sometimes catalyze understandings, and sometimes that action comes through as, I'm not going to put a feeling on it, but it can come through in many ways. And so with that, I am Shebala Queen of Lions. Just, I think we're like maybe 5 years ago, I was not Shebala Queen of Lions. I was Melissa Pang, and before getting married, I've been married for about 13 years at the time of recording this. I was Melissa Susan Caroline Coleman Edouard. And I am born in Miami, Florida. I come from Jamaican and Haitian heritage, though I was raised very American. I went on a journey of purpose and discovery, not on purpose, but because I was thrust into it after a funky move through corporate. When I was in corporate, I really thought I understood how things worked. I thought I understood people. I thought I understood what motivated them. I thought there was a very clear path from A to Z and that I was on it. And I was excited. I wasn't one of these people who was like, I hate corporate. I loved corporate. I loved using other people's money to do cool things. I loved the ease of only having to serve someone and not really think about truly what I wanted. I was convinced that I knew what I wanted, and I was convinced that my happiness came from pleasing others. And I still do get a lot of joy in the support and the caretaking because I got that in me. I got big mother energy. according to some of my clients, and I'm finally embracing it. No kids yet, but many cat children and one dog child. And what ultimately happened for me was a series of unfortunate events. And they started with work. They started with a giant misunderstanding. And I wouldn't even say it was a misunderstanding, a malicious attack on my character by someone who really wanted to keep his corporate role and was afraid of the words that could come out of my mouth and put him in a precarious situation. And I can say that truth now. And for the first time, I'm really speaking about things honestly because I'm understanding, right? And sometimes when we're understanding, we're not honest. We're missing a dose of the honesty. Another commitment. I'll come honest as I can be. And so I moved through that experience and it pushed me towards entrepreneurship. Now, I came out an entrepreneur. I came out an entrepreneur. I was molded as an entrepreneur from age 7, 8, selling products with my mom, funding my adventures, my travels. I have lived in over 12 countries. I've traveled the world, not because my family had money, but because I literally sold things, sold flowers in the streets. I was selling roses, slinging roses on Valentine's Day at age 8 to fund cool trips. And money has been a constant theme in my journey. So you'll also hear about money, making money, relationship to money, the energetics of money, the money channel for those of you who are interested in human design. And as I was moving through this funky corporate experience, I started my own companies, and that brought up different trials for me and learning lessons for me. And then from there, I had a tragic event where I lost my dog. And this was after a series of tragic events. And so I lost my dog. Then I had what felt like a very intense betrayal for me within my family of a financial nature. And then I kind of went to the highest for the moment I was in, which was I was a business coach and I was selling my $10,000 course and I had this core group of women that I absolutely loved and I was adding value and I was doing the thing and I figured out my funnel and I made my strategy work and I had a $40,000 weekend and in the same week everything came crumbling down. I found out I was in a bunch of debt that I wasn't aware of. I was in a funky situation where if I acted on that, it wouldn't be to the benefit of my family. And if you could see the video right now, you can see it's like it was a bitter pill to swallow. And we moved through that moment. And what happened after that can only be described as supernatural. Because after that, everything wasn't working. And I can say now, that it was because there was dissonance. I was out of integrity. I wasn't being honest. I wasn't expressing myself. And so as I moved through that process, I finally started fully stepping into me. The me that is the me you see today. That's super woo-woo, that's spiritual, that's connected with her ancestry, that is fully tapping into her divine gifts, that knows that there's more coming, and that can trust. But that process was pretty wild. I went through intimacy as one of my highest energies, intimacy, abundance, presence, and power, y'all. And I went through this journey of learning about myself via human design, via other methods. I went through a very university inspired journey. So I paid the best air quotes here, shamans, mentors, etc. Like literally people who are known worldwide for their contributions in specific spaces and went and literally said, please teach me. I spent $40,000 learning human design alone. And I think we're up to about 600,000, so over $500,000 learning. And at least 400K of that was dedicated in spiritual spaces. And if you ask me how I had the money, I didn't. The money appeared for me as I was moving through my process. So I made more, I spent more, and I reinvested all of that into this being and what we're doing now. But the choice to spend that was not like this beautiful strategic thing that I can tell you about now. It was a mix of divine inspiration and desperation because I was really searching for belonging. First, for belonging. And I found belonging among a few friends that only really saw me as a catalyst for growth. And I can say that now because when I stopped being a catalyst for growth, these friends left. And there was funkiness on my side too, because I desperately didn't want them to leave because I wasn't fully honest with moments and place things that I felt. And then also when I was honest with how I really felt, certain of them were terrified. And so I went through this very funky journey of friendship. And through the heartbreak of friendship, I got pushed to my brink. And so much pain in friendships that I literally considered ending my life. And I don't think the friends who were part of that process of getting me there really understood. Like, I truly believe they forgot my human and believed that they could act in certain ways and it wouldn't affect me, or that just because I had understanding meant that the feeling or the impact wasn't there. Oh, well, she'll understand, but that doesn't mean she's not hurt. And so I moved through that process. And in that, when I got to my absolute worst, when I was ready to die, I did. First via breathwork. And that was a journey of really believing that I was going to lose my mind. And it was the first time I got to connect with my ancestors. And then through ayahuasca, 7 journeys and in a really intense way that I would not recommend, though I was really at my lowest. And I was very grateful for the medicine and that it was there at that time. And again, died, walked through a white light, met my ancestors, and it was there that Shebala Queen of Lions was born. And there was a journey to get there. There was learning to get there. There was lots of experience. She was always there. And to take it back to the beginning of the story, she was there in corporate doing her work already. But because I didn't understand that, I couldn't understand how people were responding, reacting, and not jiving with me. And so that is the crux that I want to share with you now. And what will come through in this podcast is everything that came out of that journey. The 20 plus modalities that I've gotten to learn and love and grow with, the studies that I'm doing now to continue to hone. I'm going to share some of that. The work in human design that I've developed a really special knack for and expertise in, and how all of this lines up to prosperity. And so the meaning of life. And my meaning of life has changed at different times. So I want to start there. I won't judge. Well, I will judge for the purposes of this conversation. my previous meaning of life. My meaning of life before was to live up to my full potential. And the judgment I'll give is that that was way shallower than I ever thought. But there was this pain in me of knowing the depth of my potential and feeling like it wasn't recognized, seen, it wasn't able to fully give because I wasn't received. And so I just wanted to live up to my potential. And it makes sense that I had a very individual desire because I am very individual. And I can honestly own that, say that now. But there was this other part of this as to the why. Why? And this is the blessing of good mothers. They give you a purpose when you don't have one. And I really just wanted to make my mama proud. And I am so grateful for that because I wanted to make my mom proud, I pushed myself. And because I wanted to make my mom proud, I could hear the little hints and the little inklings of my magic. I could hear it. I could receive it when people told me I was going to do great things, random people. And I didn't believe it, but I was like, well, my mom believes it. And they're kind of reinforcing it. So cool. I don't know what it is. When I did my MIT MBA, I wish I could find my cover letter, but it literally said, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know it's going to be amazing. And I know that your degree is going to open the doors to help me be there. And I also know that I am a woman who is going to have children and take care of people, and that this is the timing. I went to my MBA right out of undergrad. I took a year off, but I knew that I needed to do it early and that that was the moment. And somehow I convinced the MBA admissions that I was right. And I see it now. But all of that was all mom. Just saying one day you will go to MIT or Harvard. And I did. But all of that was mom in a deep desire to not disappoint her. And it took a break from mom. It took a disconnection. It took funkiness in our relationship for me to have enough separation. And I can firmly say we've resolved that, mom. Now mom's room is right next door. But that break and that pain was what finally gave me the space to find me and to find my own purpose. And though there is a sameness to that, I still desire deeply to live up to my potential. It's more now I know I am. I know I am. I went through a journey to get there and to really ground myself into this new presence. And so there is a part of me that still desires to honor mom and honor my ancestors and honor God and honor everything that made the recipe of Shebala Melisa. But now it's about being in my purpose moment to moment. And I understand it's not about me. So the meaning of life right now isn't excelling in my purpose, which by the way, got warped. I'm going to be the best. I'm going to meet my potential, ended up turning into, I'm going to go get this amazing corporate job. I'm going to be a director of marketing. Next up, I'm going to be VP and eventually I'll be CMO and I'm going to make a bunch of money for Universal Studios and Macy's. And I don't think little Melissa, who wanted to really stand in her purpose and use up her potential, was going for making a bunch of money for a company. That's how it ended up. And I think that sometimes when our purpose is underdeveloped or shallow, it is much easier for others to manipulate it. Okay. And so where I got to is learning and growth. I am here to learn and grow and to do as much of that as possible in the short window of a little under a couple hundred years that I got. Hmm? And I am here to, and I want to address that a couple hundred years. More and more, I've decided that we can kill ourselves because we think it's time to die. And I say that because I've seen it. And it's sometimes because we want to go. The mental limitation of age can create all sorts of interesting side effects. And so I know I'll be out of here before 200, and I'm manifesting a larger number. And I'm also going to take the action that we now have. We have all the biohacks and things like that, but my dream is to have my 100th birthday and have my mom and my husband be there with me. And I know that if I start already being like, yo, when you turn 40, everything falls apart, then I'll believe that reality. And I've seen otherwise. I've seen the 120, 130-year-olds that are still dancing and having fun with their families. And I know that what we put in our body, both physically and energetically, shifts our vibration and how we feel and how the human vessel functions. And I also know science and the fact that we have so many investments. And so I just want to say that in case that's creating any resistance to anyone. But yeah, so under 2 decades to take advantage of this. Here to learn. And I'm not basing that on anyone else's stuff, right? There's a lot of theories like, oh, karma and loops and cycles and past lives and the earth is a school and we went here and da, da, da. There's a lot of spiritual versions of the truth. And for me, I've reduced that to we don't know. And anyone who tells you they know to me is in ego and in the mind. The mind desperately wants to know. And so I'm constantly in a I know and I don't know. I have an opinion. I have a potential version. And I may not have enough information. More information may reveal itself to me, and that version will change. And I've seen that because the me in corporate didn't believe that this version of my life was possible. And she was so sure. And the me of now have met different spiritual leaders and masters, and they're so sure of their version. And some of them are sure of their version because they've seen it. And I've also seen things. I feel so anchored in my belief in God and the divine because I've seen it. And also, I know that in this human vessel, our brains can literally make us see anything. And I also believe that in this vessel, we have so many memories stored from so many times because I truly believe we are all connected. And so, all of that to say, know what you know and also be open to what you don't know and know that you don't know. Okay, know what you know and also be open to what you don't know and know that you don't know. That's my reco. Take it or leave it. And for this whole pod, take what is for you, leave what is not. Okay? And so for me now, we're here to learn. We're either growing or we're dying like plants. So the more we grow, the more we learn, the more we stay alive. And so my biggest goal, my biggest purpose is to learn. I really believe that's like the basics. But the next version of that is share. Reason I said my purpose before was shallow was because it was individual. And no mine, it was individual or rooted in fear. So that it was part individual. I want to be felt seen, live up to my potential. And then the second part of it that wasn't individual, you could say you wanted to do it for your community, your mom, but that wasn't actually true. I was afraid of disappointing. And when we do things for other people, to me, those, if I'm doing it because I'm afraid of disappointing you, I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for me because I'm scared. And so for me, this was all really focused on me. And now, like I said, I honor them, my ancestors, my guides, everyone who's given a gift to me. Even like the random friend. I have a friend, most intelligent man I've ever met in my life. WG are his initials, in case he's listening. And this man ghosted me. We were friends. I literally moved to Austin and was like, I feel safe because he and his family are here. And he has some beautiful, beautiful children with his wife. He ghosted me. His wife didn't. Thank you for not ghosting me, my love. She didn't, but he did. And I still remember things he said. My husband still remembers words that came out of his mouth that shaped how we view the world. He's that powerful. There was a depth of understanding. He told us once that people bond over hate. And it was so impactful to hear that. He's like, yeah, the people here, they bond over hate. If you want to bond with them, tell them you hate something. And that was like a big mind explosion for me. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, people bond over hate. People bond over critiquing things. They don't know how to bond with people. And so they revert to hate because it's the easiest way. That's a bombshell. And so I want to honor everyone who's put a little bit of their magic in this vessel through my existence. I want to learn. And my biggest thing, my meaning of life that y'all have been graciously potentially waiting for, but hopefully you've been hearing all the other fun gems in the process, is consideration. So in this moment in time, the biggest meaning, what are we here for? We're here to learn consideration. We're here to learn how to share. Consideration for every human, for every living being, for animals, for the planet. The earth is a living organism. The earth has a heartbeat, consideration for the earth. And that's what I believe. The reason I chose consideration, I've been literally sitting and thinking about this word, feeling into this word, probably for the last, oof, 4 years. And prosperity artists, y'all, we're here in blog, podcast, video form, but, and prosperity artist is a book. And so much of my chart, human design chart, is distilling things to its simplest form and sharing in consideration. How do we share? Why sharing? We talk about equality a lot. I want to be equal. Many people say they want to be equal, but they don't want to share. They want to own things. I want to be equal but separate. How? When we're sharing the resource that is this planet. So for me, at the height, if we say, we like to talk about the devil. For me, the devil is separation and ownership. For me, the solve is sharing and consideration. Consideration because I'm on my unique journey. You're on your unique journey. I'm a unique individual. You're a unique individual. What we want is different. We can pretend that there are standards, but there is no standard. I guess there is a standard. We breathe oxygen. So there's some clean air, clean water. But once you get beyond those true basics, mm-mm. And so consideration, careful thought, typically over a period of time, payment or reward, thoughtfulness and sensitivity to others. Thoughtfulness and consideration to others, sensitivity to others. That's what I really believe we're here to learn. And for me, as I walk in my purpose, and I'll say more in future podcast episodes of why consideration, why sharing. The short version is we're all connected, and that's what gets us to sustainability. The earth is a limited resource if you make it that and if you treat it that way. But there is a sustainable way for us all to live on this planet, and it doesn't require other people to die or for you to win or be right, even. There is actually an agree to disagree too. And there are some things we get to all align on, but there are not many actually. But consideration gets us there. And some people will say, well, that's love. And I think to me, love and consideration, that's the starting point for love. And I don't think we need the depth of love that we believe, but at the minimum, consideration. And my purpose now is learning, growing, sharing, looking at my journey and not just accumulating wisdom, knowledge, and potential, but really sharing. And not sharing in a way to push my message or to position myself in any kind of way, but just sharing when asked at an appropriate timing with discernment what is helpful for others to move through this journey with more ease. And so that's where I'm at now. And I truly believe we all do some form of this. That the moment we connect with another individual, we're sharing. And whether that's people to people or products, I'm hanging out with my candle here. If I'm giving you a product, that's sharing. And the vibration that we create things with translates the integrity we infuse things with, lands, all of it is connected. Mhm. And so that is the summary. And as we move through this process, I hope that all develop consideration for those of you who choose to be subscribers, audience members, whatever we want to call y'all, other humans that are sharing this energy of this space. And that's pretty much it. That's all I want to say. Welcome. Welcome. You are welcome to receive this podcast. What else? I want to make a note on reverence as I move through this podcast. I've learned so many things from so many people. And frankly, we learn things every day. Sometimes you walk out on the street and someone says something, and now it is part of you. I will do my best to give credit where it's due. And I don't even like that statement. So I'm going to rephrase it. So you also see me rephrase. I don't love the statement on credit where it's due because I think for me it would just ladder up to God. And God language is language I use. Many people have a funky relationship with God. Many people don't believe in God. And just for the record, I believe in God. I believe in a connection that we all have. And I believe in alternate language. And I believe God is within all of us. So if you want to say it's not God, it's me, cool. Yeah. I'm like, go for it. If you want to say it's not God, it's whatever language you have for God, go ahead. Do whatever you get to do to translate it into a language that you can receive. But fighting me about God is not going to be a productive use of anyone's time. And just know that's a language I use. I was raised in the Christian culture. My grandma is a reverend. Going on this journey was pretty intense for me because I didn't believe in half the things I believe in now. And give credit where it's due. The reason I don't like that is because it's actually quite capitalistic, that language. And again, it comes back to this ownership thing. And again, if I were to ladder it up, credit is to source. And what I will do is I will treat things with reverence and I will cite sources and places and people. Now, sometimes when I do that, I will literally say, I do not recommend this source anymore. Because as we go through our journeys, we evolve, and things we may have received, we may now see as things that we don't feel comfortable recommending. People are going through their journey, especially healing people. And I have a best friend now. She's amazing. Had I met her 10 years ago, we would have had some issues. And I know that because she's told me that. But now she's a whole different human. I really believe people can change and grow. And also, I only recommend products and services that I've recently tapped into. And if there was any funkiness, I call it out. And if people hear it, they can also speak to where they were in that moment and if they've made changes now. But I still think it's important that we cite our sources unless we really believe that there are issues with them on a higher level. Like, I will not share where I went and did ayahuasca because I find that place to be potentially problematic. There seems to be some integrity issues. And so that's my one piece. If I'm seeing some integrity issues crop up, etc., I'll state some information, but I will also not recommend or not cite certain things. But for knowledge, books, things like that, you'll hear from me. And if I ever don't cite something and you want to know, let me know. And with that, I'll say, please do the same. If there's something that you hear on this podcast that delights you, please let people know where it came from, just in case they have deeper questions that I can answer. The other thing is, I'm going to try teaching some of my content. I have 100-page guide for launching companies, lots of things from my business coaching days. And there are frameworks that I took years to hone and to distill, things that I used to sell for thousands of dollars. And some of them I will share. And there was a lot of sweat, blood, love, tears that went into that. So again, if you choose to share them further, one, thank you, and two, let them know where it came from. So again, if they have any deeper questions, they can come back to the source so that I can give them my sources and they can go even deeper on their journeys and so on and so forth. And as I'm here, I want to just put that into the energy as well, an energy of sharing, but also sharing with consideration for the source you received it from and for the ultimate source. Okay. I think I've said everything. You've heard a little bit about me, a little bit about me, a little bit about my spiritual journey. It felt like a lot, but it's just the little scratching the surface. We've talked about reverence. We've talked about my current meaning of life and how it has evolved over time. Oh, what are we going to cover on this? Many things. So the modalities that I've studied, I'm gonna bring on guests. Mallory is a rock star that I have the gift of working with in this season. Our journeys are overlapping, and she's come on as my chief of staff for Shebala.com and Woofulness. And you will see her. Sometimes what comes through me just flows when she's around. And so we'll just record that, and that'll be a podcast. And so you're going to meet Mallory. Mallory is a badass marketer. And we will certainly bring that into the pod as well. And if you have any requests, please drop them in. Please drop them in. And that is it. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here today. Our sponsor for today, just for fun, is Woofulness. We are having a big launch, rocks, rituals, remedies. So candle rituals, rocks are our crystals, remedies, like actual herbal remedies are coming through. For those on the video, I'm showing off our most popular candle, Ching, which is a money candle. Every candle is a ritual. And so you'll get self-introspection questions, ways to dive deep. And honestly, this is some of the best ways to get a dose of my medicine. I also do custom candles, especially since the gift readings do get booked. So this is a way to get in a little early. And I'll end with that. Head to shebala.com if you're listening to this. Woofulness.com is coming live soon at the time of recording it. It is not live yet, but will be up for holiday of 2025 if someone happens to be listening to this in the far, far future. But yes, these are the ways you can engage with me. This is my store. And also, I offer gift readings, commitment to my ancestors at least one a week. Current commitment as of time of recording this, I'm doing 9 most weeks. And I'm doing them online. They do get booked up about 2 to 3 months in advance. If you are booking and you need to switch up, please cancel them. Folks have been very respectful. So most times I am booked. There is a waiting list. So y'all can always reach out to get on the waiting list. So feel free to send an email. The business email is queen@shebala.com. So send an email with subject line list, and we can get you on the schedule for free readings if it's booked up on shebala.com. And if not, engage with a candle or ritual. We're going to be doing a lot more. We're coming out. It has been, ooh, 3 years, 4 years, ooh, yeah, of just being in this period of receiving. And man, I cannot wait to give. Love y'all and see you soon.